thinking about what I'm going to speak about today, I had this sort of a roller coaster effect, or rather, I remembered why I don't like roller coasters anymore. I used to love them very much, but not so much as I've been getting older. It seems like I get a headache after getting off the Colossus or something, all that shaking. But anyway, I was thinking about something that made me think about this roller coaster effect, which is there a possibility to find a good reason to not look at COVID as absolutely devastatingly horrible thing? And there was this one thing that popped up that I found quite interesting. So it is not unknown that, unfortunately, a lot of the people within the United States are not familiar with American political system. As a matter of fact, it's just as a few years ago, 39% of American population only could name all three branches of the government, and it was 12% that could name two branches, about 25% could name one, and 23% could not name even a single branch of U.S. government. I think there was a study by Penn State or something. And I was thinking about that, and that's when COVID came in, because this year it seems that we have improved. And here's the improvement statistics. 51%, which means more than half of people living within the United States can name all three branches of our government. 17%, that's a 5% increase, can name two, and it's about 8% who can name one. But here's the sad part, like absolutely devastatingly sad part. 23% of American population can not name even a single branch of our government. You know, when we think about that, why and how this happens, right? Because we have a 98% literacy, which means just about everybody goes to school. And this is not even about the education standards or schools. How is that possible that 23% of our citizens and people walk away without being able to name even one of the branches of our government? I mean, if there was ever indictment against our education system, this would be it, because I don't understand how it's possible that anybody could walk away without knowing that. But, judge not and you will not be judged, I guess, jumps into my head. So this notion of, luckily, we have increased the number of people who have knowledge about our government within this last couple of years. The previous statistics from were 2017, and in 2020 we have improved. Unfortunately, those who are not interested, we haven't changed that statistic even a little bit. But that got me thinking, right? The most recent election was one of the more attended, and it's like 67% of people who were eligible, 66 or 67%, which translated to roughly around 160 million people, give or take a couple of million people, voted at this election. And that's a lot of people. I mean, we haven't had such a big turnout since like 120 years, and back then, the eligible voters were only limited to just one group of people. And I was thinking about that, and just think about it. 80 million people, over 80 million people within the United States who are eligible to vote have not voted, right? And when asked why they did not vote, any number of reasons have been brought forward. Not being registered being the biggest one, it's about 29%. Not being interested, right? 23%. Not liking the candidates, about another 20% of the people, and that their vote doesn't matter, about 16%. I think the remainders of it. So these people who did not vote, this was the rationale why they did not vote. I'm not going to address one like glaring, 600-pound gorilla in the room about how we again fail to be able to attract or make people understand the importance of participating in an electoral process, but it's becomes saddening, and this is the roller coaster effect, right? Like, you're thinking about it, it's like, how do we convince people that it's important for people to vote. Like, so for example, forget who the president is, right? Like, it doesn't matter who the president is. There are more things that going on in a ballot that one needs to be aware of. Sort of like, if you are interested in prison industrial complex, or you want to be able to effectively change the local the way the things matter within the state and or county, that's when voting matters, because you would be able to cast your vote specifically and in regards to those issues that could have direct impact upon yourself. But people do not do it, people do not know it, and as we can recognize, close to 1/3 of people who could vote don't vote. And we don't teach right when students walk away, or people become young adults without general understanding. Close to half of people within the United States still cannot understand the branches of our government. And there's this last piece of thing that just simply sticks to me, and I know this one is probably going to be upsetting for some people. One of the things that I usually ask in a classroom full of students is, I say, have you read the Constitution of the United States? And there's always some responses, yes and no's. But when I ask the question to why people have not read the Constitution of the United States, the most common response I get, is that it is too long. And I think that's not the... And I usually take that response and I say, well, yes, I understand, it's complex. And the second one, that is complex. But the truth and the reality is that the Constitution of the United States is like 9 pages long in its entirety. It is 9 pages long in its entirety. That's including Bill of Rights too, right? And we fail to teach 9 pages that would allow people to understand the scope and measure and the extent of the laws that govern the United States. And I think that failure is probably the most heart-sinking, like a colossus into my gut, that makes me realize how horrible of a job we're doing.